Okay. Remember on Friday we talked about percent word problems, and I told you that this is a life skill that you need to know how to do. All right. This is something that you will put into practice almost more than any other math concept that you will learn. TJ, do you have your hand up? Let me go get my list. You're welcome to, and whatever you miss while you're gone is your responsibility. Don't disrupt your group when you come back. All right, so the first one says, at the factory, 16% of the pens were defective. If there are 75 pens, how many are defective? So, we've got on your scratch paper, if you are using your scratch paper, please number your work, okay? Please make your work neat. I am not going scavenging for your scratch work. Make it neat. So, we've got 16% of the pens are defective. It tells us that there are 75 pens. So I'm going to mark out pens, and what am I going to put there? 75. Now, can I use 16% the way it's written?
No.
Nope. What do I need to do?
You have to change it to a
Let's change it to a decimal.
or fraction.
We could do a fraction. What does of mean? Multiply. I've got 75 pens. What does R mean in math? R is, was, were. What do those words mean in math? Equals. And we don't know, so I'm put a D there for defective. So what are we going to do to figure it out?
So you're going to move the decimal?
Mm-hmm. What does it tell us to do? Multiply. That's it. So we've got 16 hundredths times 75. I want you to do that on your paper. That is a skill that we've already mastered. Five times 6 is, carry my 3. 5 times 1 is, plus 3 is, go to the next row. Bring down my 0. 7 times 6 is 42. Write my 2, carry my 4. 7 times 1 is, plus 4 is 11. How many numbers do I need behind the decimal? 2. So how many pens are defective? 12. So my answer is 12 what? Pens. 12 pens. Number 2. The meal cost $35 and the customer left a 20% tip. How much was the tip? So, we've got 20% of the meal is the tip? Does it tell us how much the meal or the tip is? Tells us one of them. Which one does it?
Cost $35.
The meal costs $35. So I'm gonna mark off meal and I'm gonna put what?
35.
35. What am I gonna do to the 20%?
Make that a decimal.
Make it a decimal.
Do we X out the meal or just meal?
What?
Do we X out the meal or just meal?
You can do the meal. What does of mean?
Multiply.
Then I've got 35. What does is mean?
Equal.
Equals. And it's gonna tell us what?
Tip.
The tip.
But you gotta multiply.
So now we have to multiply. I want you to do that. So how much is the tip? It's what?
70.
$70?
7 cents. Probably is correct.
Y'all, the whole meal was $35.
$7.
$7. You didn't move your decimal,
I
Alvon.
forgot about that.
Yeah, you can't forget about that. You could be leaving a $70 tip when your whole meal was only $35.
That'll make that waitress's week.
I mean, she'd be a real happy waitress right there.
She might even retire.
That's like
No, I don't think so. Number 3.
She did.
$100.
Number 3. The pants cost $40. Gina had a coupon for 15% off. How much money did she save? So we've got Gina 15% off of the price is the discount. $40 is what? Where do I put $40 up here?
Price.
The price.
The price.
What do I need to do with 15%?
Make it a decimal.
Make it a decimal.
So is one.
What does of mean?
What?
All right, I want you to figure out how much money is she saving with her coupon.
The other day I was really confused. How are you supposed to whenever you're multiplying, know where to put? Because I know
You need the number of numbers behind the decimal. So let's look.
I meant the first decimal on there, but how do you know how to move it?
So I have 2 numbers behind the decimal.
Oh,
You have to count your number of numbers behind the decimal and move. That's how many numbers you need behind the decimal in your answer. So how much is the discount? $6. Number 4. 18% of the cars in the parking lot are blue. if there are 150 cars in the parking lot, how many cars are blue? So we've got 18% of the cars are blue. It tells us 150. What does 150 tell us?
50.
The amount of cars. So what am I gonna have to do with 18%?
Made a decimal.
What does R mean? Is, are, was, were. Equals. Alright, I want you to do that math. Figure out how many cars are blue. How many cars are blue?
27.
27 what? 27 cars. 27 cars are blue. Alright, you're left with 2. I'm not going to give you time right now to do those 2. We'll come back to that in just a second. I want to flip over and do the right side, okay? So let's look. On the right side, it says find the whole, okay? So we're going to do the same thing we just did. So if you want to turn your scratch paper over so that you know you have room to finish number 5 and number 6 on the front, you'll have room for that, okay? So we're going to work on number 1 first. Number 1 says, may rake 40% of the yard and filled 12 bags of leaves. How many bags will she need to rake the whole yard? So, 40% of the yard filled 12 bags. Is that right, 12? 40% of the yard filled 12 bags. What do I need to do to 40%? Change it to a decimal. What does of mean? Multiply. Yard, we don't know. It's what we're trying to find out. How many bags is she going to need? Filled. Do we have a word for filled?
No, but I think it would be.
Equals 12. So 40% is 12. Now, this equation is a multiplication equation. So how do I solve it? I divide. What am I going to divide by?
Why?
No.
4.
4/10. And what happens on the left? These what?
They cancel out.
And I'm left with.
Y equals.
Now, when we have a fraction like this, how do I set it up? What do we need to remember?
Inside out.
Inside out, okay? So 12 is going to go on the inside. 4/10 is going to go on the outside. Can I do it like that?
No.
Nope. So I need to what? I got to move my decimal. And I have 4 on the outside and 120 on the inside. How many times will 4 go into 1? 0. 12.
3 times.
3 times 4 is.
What you gotta bring down that first?
How many times will 4 go into 0? So, the whole yard is how many? How many? 30 what?
Bag.
Now, think about it. 40%, is that less than or greater than half? Less than. What's half of 30? 15. So, does it make sense that less than half is 12? Yeah. You can. Did you go, Miss? Okay, go ahead. All right, let's look at the second one. Number 2 says 95% of the ducks in the pond were swimming. If 57 ducks were swimming, how many were in the pond? So we've got 95% of the ducks were swimming. 95%, is that almost all of them?
Yes.
Yes, that's almost all of them, okay? So, is our number going to be close to the number given to us in the problem?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So, how many ducks are swimming?
57.
57. So, I'm going to move my percent. Multiplication. I don't know how many ducks, so I'm going to put a D. What does were mean? Is, are, was, were, what does that mean? Equals. Now how am I going to solve it? What am I going to divide by, Alvon?
0 and
95 hundredths.
I didn't put the line.
Inside, outside. Can I do it like this? Nope. So what do I need to do?
Rewrite it and then 95.
All right, I want you to do this one at your seat and see what you come up with. Oh man, Miss Bird. Mm-hmm. How many ducks are in the pond? 60. Is 57 close to 60? Yeah, it's really close. All right. Number 3 is easier than any one we've done so far. But I am going to tell you that for my homeroom earlier today, number 3 tripped some people up. Okay? So let's look at number 3. Number 3 says that 58 kernels popped in the microwave. If 50% of the kernels Joy placed in the microwave popped, how many kernels did she start with? So, 50% of the kernels popped, right? So, 50% is what?
Half.
Half. Okay. Half. What does of mean? Kernels. Do we know how many she put in there?
No.
Nope. Kernels. How many popped? 58.
I already have it figured out.
So how do you figure it out?
You multiply 58 by 2.
We're going to multiply 58 by 2. But I've got to multiply by the reciprocal. Do you remember doing this?
Oh.
Multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm multiplying, 1 right here, not 2. So this cancels out and leaves us with what? A K. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry my 1. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 1 is... So, how many total kernels did she have? That one got you.
You said 50, I was like, what? No, it's 50.
A lot of people in my homeroom divided 58 in half. That's what you did? Yep.
I thought it was just 8.
It was easy.
No, it's
No,
not.
it wasn't.
But it was so easy, it was tricky.
No.
All right, number 4. The photographer got the baby to smile in 30% of the photos he took. If the baby smiled in 12 photos, how many photos did the photographer take? So, let's see. Number 4. 30% of the photos had smiles, right? 30% of the photos had smiles. So 12 tells us what? 12 photos tells us what? Is that the total or how many the baby smiled? How many the baby smiled. So that 12 is going to go here for my smiles. Of means multiply. I don't know how many photos. So how are we going to solve this? Divide by what? We're going to have to divide by 3/10. I am very perturbed right now. And I think the people who have perturbed me are aware of it. So what am I going to do? Oh,
You gotta.
You gotta,
Yeah, you're right.
so how many photos?
40.
I told y'all when we started this that most of the percentage word problems that we would have would be simple percentages, okay? And we've only had a couple that the percentages were a little more difficult, okay? Most of these percentages are easier percentages, all right? So the thing is, you have to be able to do it easily before you move on to 7th grade and do it way harder, okay? So we're starting small with this. It's the first time you've ever done percentages. So the fact that you can do some of these in your head, some of you, that's okay. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm walking around and I see answers written down,
But no word.
but no work.
I don't.
Not one lick of work.
I can't lie. I don't know.
So, if you aren't going to show your work, I'm going to give your paper back to you for you to do your work, okay? I'm not going to take it if you don't show your work.
But
All right.
The person doesn't know how to do it.
Pardon me?
What if the person doesn't know how to do it?
Well, if they didn't know how, we've done them on the board. We've done them on the board, sir.
How is it fair that it's so simple, I can do it in my head? I still need to write it down, but I can do it in my head, get it correct.
This,
but I
you've
still
got
need
to write
it
the
down.
steps. Like if you can do this part in your head, I mean, a lot of people can do this part in their head, okay? And 30%, you would at least have to have had this or your equations written down before you could do it in your head. At this stage of the game without making mistakes. Does that make sense? Or it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be easier for you to make a mistake. Alright, that leaves us to,
Only the back.
that leaves us only the back.
and
Okay.
question.
Alright, so let's look at the back, okay? Because I wanna work on a couple of these fine percent ones. And then this right side puts all of them together, okay? Everything is put together on the right side.
It's a fly in there.
So let's look here. It says 13 out of 24 jelly beans are green. What percent of the jelly beans are green? Yes, sir. Go ahead. So we have 13 in math. Y'all, out of means what? Your little fraction bar. Okay, 13 out of 20. If I want that to be a percent, what does my denominator have to be? What does my denominator need to be? 100. Can I multiply 20 times something to get 100? Yes. 20 times what? So 13 times 5 is 65. So what percent of the jelly beans are green? 65%. Don't forget your percent sign.
At the end.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna do it.
I don't like Eli. Eli, so it's fine.
Oh, which is better for you, for Google
Mhm.
or Siri? Or Alexa?
Yeah, all the times I tell her to hush. All right, we're not going to talk because if you talk, you're going to mess up. All right, number 2. The fish tank has 60 fish. 12 of the fish have spots. What percent of the fish have spots? So, we've got 12 out of 60 have spots. Can I simplify that?
Yes.
What can I divide both of those numbers by?
12.
12. 12 divided by 12 is 60 divided by 12 is,
5.
now, what does my denominator need to be? Can I get from 5 to 100?
Yes.
What do I multiply by?
20.
So 1 times 20 is, so what percent have spots? 20. saw 60 mice. He caught 18 of them. What percent of the mice did he catch? So, he caught 18 out of 60 mice.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Can I reduce this?
Yes.
What do I divide by?
6.
6. 18 divided by 6 is 60 divided by 6 is 10. Now, what does my denominator need to be? How do I get from 10 to 100? Times 10. So 3 times 10 is. So, what percent of mice did he catch? 30.
Ooh. So if he caught 30 more than 60,
Hmm?
if he caught 30 more, what, how many, mice
He caught, He caught 30%. Not 30 mice. He caught 30% of the mice. Sorry, I didn't have my label. Alright, number 4 is tricky. Alright? Number 4 is tricky. And number 4, this percentage is one that you don't have to know in 6th grade. Okay? But I'm going to do it just so that you can see it. But it is not a 6th grade standard to have to be able to do number 4. Number 4 says there are 6. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm wrong. I was figuring it wrong in my head. Number 4 you will have to do. There are 6 girls and 18 boys in the class. What percent of the students are girls? So, we want our girls on the top. But how many students are there total?
No. Slow down. You said the girls are on the top? No.
Yeah, they're
Be quiet.
first.
They're not on the top.
They are
That's some
first.
crap.
So, how many total students are there? 24. What can I divide 6 and 24 by? 6. 6 divided by 6 is 24 divided by 6 is 4. Now, can I get from 4 to 100? How? Times what? So what percent of the class is girls? 25. 75% of the class is boys.
Nice. Wait, that's more. Yeah.
Yeah, way more.
Way more, y'all. That's
All right. Shh. Okay. This leaves you with 2 at the bottom of the first 3 pages and all 6 on the last page. Okay? So how many total problems do you have? 12. Okay? There were, let's see, 6 times 4 is 24 problems. You have 12 left. So what percent is that?
50.
50.
How am I supposed to know?
We did 50% together.
So we gotta
You have 50% left to do by yourself.
How am I-
Okay? Sir,
How am I supposed to know that?
how are you supposed to know that?